It is now my great honor to invite up a member of our interweave team, Delia Diaz, to share a reflection. And Kenny will be accompanying with piano.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Delia Diaz, and I'm here with my partner, Julia, and our son, Kenny, on the piano. We're here just taking the opportunity to tell you what the Unitarian Universalist Church of Sarasota has done for us. First, both Julia and I come from a deeply divided religious family. Hence, we are scarred. I grew up in a very religious divided family between two completely tough religious. Julia went through her own religious trauma experience as well. Long story short, we were blessed to find each other. Just to give you an idea of how things have gone for us, I have been flat out rejected by her parents, and she has been disowned from her family. Needless to say, we keep on loving each other. And when we decided to merge our beautiful families with Kenneth, our 13-year-old son, Kiana, our 11-year-old daughter, and beautiful Olivia, too, our 7-year-old daughter, we knew and we prayed for a loving community. We believe that a place like this existed. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Reverend Jade. Thank you, everyone who welcome us with a loving heart every Sunday. The kids can wait to come on Sundays. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone who makes this possible. I'm fathomed at the fact that we have access to speak to you today, and Kiano to be playing the master piano. So all we wanted to say is thank you for opening your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Delia, and Kenny. Now I'd like to invite up another member of our interweave team, Linda Cordisco, to share a reflection.
Good morning. Can you hear me? I grew up in a family with 2 gay aunts and a gay uncle. I know what you're thinking. Must be hereditary. My aunts and uncles were all in lifelong relationships. So there was Aunt Kay and Ellie, Aunt Ruth and Ruthie, and Uncle Gus and Bob. The word gay, however, was never spoken. DeSantis would be proud. I was never told that my aunts and uncles were gay until one day when I was watching the television show, this is the original one, The Odd Couple. I turned to my mother, who was ironing, that's what she did when she was ironing, she watched TV, and said, "Why do Uncle Gus and Bob move so much?" I was not aware at the time that flipping houses could be profitable. My mother replied, "Well, you're right." Okay, I thought, what a strange answer to my question. Let me try to figure this out. My mother was a woman of few words. Okay, odd couple, Uncle Gus and Bob. Oh, she's telling me they're gay. She went on to tell me how much she loved her sisters and her brother, and it made no difference to her. They were family. The word gay was never used again in my house until, wait for it, they learned they had a gay daughter. It wasn't until I was 30 years old that I realized I was gay. Yes, there's still hope for some of you out there. I was married and then divorced and dated fairly often, but I always felt that something was just not right. I liked men, but never felt the magic. Finally, a friend of mine, growing tired of my whining and complaining, suggested I try dating a woman. I did, and the rest is history. There's my wife right over there, Judy. So, coming out to my parents should be easy peasy, right? I mean, 2 gay aunts and a gay uncle? I had it made. Well, I got the "we still love you" response, but also the reminder of the family oath to secrecy. Don't tell anyone. This was also strongly reiterated by my gay aunts. In all fairness to my family, there were historically lots of good reasons at the time for not telling anyone you were gay. You could be arrested, beaten up, fired, denied housing, refused medical treatment, accused of child molestation, disowned, and socially ostracized. You were often denied the right to serve in the military, marry, and adopt children. This was the world my aunts and uncles had experienced. Today, LGBTQIA+ people that live in the United States have many more rights and protections, but there is still so much more to do. Here in Florida, thanks to House Bill 1557, the Parental Rights in Education Bill, we proudly prohibit classroom instruction to kindergarten and 3rd grade students related to sexual identity and gender. My professional career focused on working with children with disabilities and their families. In 1993, remember that date, that was almost 30 years ago, I did a training for early childhood teachers entitled Recognizing and Supporting Gay and Lesbian Families at an International Early Childhood Education Conference. Until this workshop, I'd never heard anyone recognize that some of the children in our classrooms may have LGBTQ parents. We talked to teachers about how to examine their classroom environments, instructional materials, parental forms, libraries, and curriculum to create a welcoming and inclusive environment for all children and all families. At the end of the presentation, during the Q&A, a young teacher commented that she would love to implement some of the strategies that were presented, but she was afraid she might lose her job. If she were a kindergarten teacher in Florida today, she would. Thank you.
So growing up in my household, sex in general, let alone sexual orientation, was never discussed. Or very rarely. I think, one of our family members, my parents' friends, had a son who there were whispers that he was gay, and then my parents would say, yeah, but he's an artistic type, and he's moving to Hollywood. And so I'm thinking, oh, so gay people all live in California. Okay. I know that sounds very naive, but we didn't have social media back in the day, and if it's never discussed, you just don't know. Because that was when I was a young child. When I was in high school, I actually accidentally walked in on two boys kissing each other in an office, and I have to say it was the drama club. Not that that's a direct connection to the last story, but it was. It was the drama club. And I could see the fear in their eyes that someone saw them doing this, that fear of being outed, and how, because there were true violent risks to them where I grew up. But also being a person who knew what it was like to be an outsider in other ways, I kept that confidence for them, and they very much appreciated it. My first maybe act of allyship, I would say. But I am proud